Today I'm joined by Jackie Tomeyer, the General Manager of the Lloydminster Exhibition Association. She's here today to talk to us about the year in review for the Lloyd X, which was a very exciting year. And so thank you so much for being with me today, Jackie, and as well as having us out for all the stories throughout the year of 2024.
Yes, thanks for coming out and covering us.
All right, so let's start with right in the beginning of winter there. It was very, very cold for this year's Cattlemen's Call, and then following that also you had Agrivision. So talk to me about those first few events of the year in the barns and how they were for 2024.
Yeah, Cattlemen's Call definitely was very, very cold, which saw a decrease in the number of cattle that actually showed up. We had lots entered, but the people that could actually leave their farms and get there. But it was still a tremendous show for networking, for collaboration, for people just having a good time visiting with their neighbors. It was a great weekend, and it is a very good show, or it was a very good show this year for us. And then we rolled right into Agrivisions, which this year was, I would say, really high attendance. We had really great, diverse speakers, and it really felt like we were pre-COVID on this trade show and conference, where it was really back. And plans started immediately the week after for this coming February show. Yeah.
Exciting, exciting. And so then moving into the spring, there's the big 4-H Expo, and then talk to me about a few of the other spring events that you guys had and how exciting those were for 2024.
Yeah, 4-H was really strong. We're seeing a real generation resurgent in the new generation. So we saw really high sheep entries, which in future years will translate into beef entries and to light horse entries, because those little guys, they can show their sheep, and as they get older, once they reach the certain age, they can then move into the other things. But also just our multi-purpose, seeing all the different crafts and events and projects was really great. 4-H is doing a great job of staying relevant and being, 4-H kids raising up through that program are just turn into tremendous adults that are such a value to themselves and their communities. But yeah, that really encompasses a lot of our spring programming is our big 4-H show, our Progress Steer and Heifer show as well. Those kids come, they bring some tremendous animals that they work hard all winter on, and we love that show. We love seeing the youth, and that committee does a tremendous job of planning that show.
All right, and so very exciting in the spring with all those cattle shows and 4-H events, but then the big one, of course, is the summer and the Lloyd X Fair with all of the different events happening there. So tell me a little bit about this Lloyd X Fair, and I think it was, especially for us here running the parade, how exciting that was with all the different floats and how great the fair was this year.
Yeah, our parade must have been one of our record-breaking parades. It had well over 120 entries, I believe. The streets were lined. I hope the schools are ready for all of the young kids that we saw along the parade route, because it was full of families. Lloydminster continues to come out and support our parade. We really think it's Lloydminster's parade, and it showed this year. But we continue to evolve our fair. We made some drastic changes the year before with layout, with programming, and we continue to make those changes. And heading into 2025, we have even more surprises and more changes coming. As we continue to strive to increase the value of fair to our community and bring a better experience to the region.
And then two exciting events, of course, at the fair. You had the NACC, but then also at the track later on in the summer, you had two exciting events. You had the wild pony races as well as the CPCA finals. So talk to me about those events and really bringing that Western way of life to Lloydminster and those two great events, especially with the wild pony horse races being new this year. Yeah,
so the NACC, that's a tremendous 9-day event. For this coming year, it's not returning to Halstead Downs. So that'll be a big change to our fair, is that we'll do different programming out on the track this year. But yeah, then we had the Indian Relay races in July. So that was a brand new event. It was a standalone show, the first time we've done that. And we saw 2 packed shows and very diverse crowd. I was just amazed at the diversity of the crowd and the people that came out to see it, and the teams that came had a great time. They made some prize money. They showed off just how skilled they are as teams. And then we cap off our summer with the CPCA finals, which we crowned Logan Gorst as the winner, and he drove away in the vehicle supplied by Nissan. And yeah, it was a great summer of lots of horse activities, and we're looking forward to doing it all over again.
And then kind of the final big event that you guys have for the year is the Lloyd-X Stockade. And so tell me a little bit about this year's event and just how important it is to cap off the event with one of the best shows here in Western Canada for cattle producers, both in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and even farther away.
Yeah, I know, Thomas, you're involved in the cattle industry, so you know how passionate people are about their purebred cattle in these shows, and this year was no exception. We saw tremendous support from the committee. They did a tremendous job planning it, organizing it, being on site to help the staff run it. But we saw a lot of new exhibitors that we hadn't seen at Lloydminster before. So that tells me that purebred cattle shows are not going anywhere. People are getting involved, people are traveling, people are having a good time doing this, and Lloydminster is renowned for their seed stock and their purebred cattle density population that is here. And we might be one of the smaller shows on the circuit, but the quality cattle is not small. That was one of the best Supreme shows I've ever seen, and yeah, we're wishing them all the best at Exhibition this week.
Certainly, that is definitely true. Finally, we get now into, is there any major events that you guys are finishing off here in December with, and then looking forward into next January and into next winter and the events that are coming up for 2025? Yeah,
we just had our PBR on Saturday, and again, another sold-out show. I think this is the 4th year in a row that we had a sold-out show with a great cabaret. Again, we continue to attract quality riders that come and the bulls, and this show is a bit of the Wild West because the stock contractors have just come off the finals, the PBR finals in Edmonton. So they give those bulls, the experienced bulls, maybe a rest, and they bring their young guns to Lloydminster to match up against some of these riders. So it gets a little Western sometimes in that arena, and people might get a little slobber or some dirt on them, but it makes the experience that much better. So we had a great Winter Classic, thanks to our sponsors and partners that help us with that. We had a really great turnout for Harvest Festival this year. Again, an event that highlights local produce, local connection to food, and our committees just do such a great job of all the events that they're proud to produce.
Awesome. And so just again, what's coming up now once we get into the new year, as well as, and you mentioned a few new changes coming to Agrivisions and as well as Fair. Can you let us peek behind the curtain a little bit for some of those exciting events next year?
Yeah, Agrivisions this year has an interesting keynote speaker, I'll say that. Watch for the announcement. He might not be your traditional agriculture speaker, but I think that people are going to walk away from there feeling a lot of value and being very entertained. And then Fair, I will say that hopefully we'll appeal to the motorsports crowd with some of the changes that are coming to Fair, and some of the entertainment options as well. We're gonna spice things up and change things up again, and that's always our goal, is to change and make sure that when you come to Fair, it's not the same old, same old.
Well, perfect. I'm looking very much forward to those two events coming up in the winter, and so be sure to stay with us. Thank you so much again, Jackie, for all the information today, and then be sure to stick with us as we will have plenty more Lloyd-X content coming up in the new year.